Hello class, this is Mike Nolan, and this is my presentation on Public Service Management and Leadership for Week 5 of the MPA 594 Comprehensive Exam Seminar. So the public sector agency is the Santa Ana Police Department, and the major change that must be made and must be made quickly is the Santa Ana Police Department needs to transition from the traditional ballistic vest to the load-bearing vest, thus getting rid of the traditional style patrol belt and putting the equipment onto the vest in an effort to reduce and relieve workers' compensation claims associated with back pain and complaints associated with the traditional policing style belt. So the newly assigned department head is Commander Collins, who has been assigned to oversee the Santa Ana Police Department's patrol division, and he is responsible for implementing this change. This change is going to be made with the three themes of leadership, motivation, and implementation. So Commander Collins has the best leadership style to implement this change. He is a McGregor's Theory X leader. He has the view of employees that employees and workers must be directed to the change and what that change will be. In his leadership style, it is a dictatorship, not a democracy, and this decision will be controlled and imposed upon the employee from the administration. This is not a collective bargaining right of the employee or the police officers association. And Commander Collins believes in a very Frederick Taylor style of leadership. He believes that in the organization there should be a clear chain of command with him being at the top of that command, and that as a manager he is to design this work process and to ensure that it is enforced and how this is going to be performed as well. His employees and subordinates on patrol, who he's responsible for, are to follow his directions, and he believes that this decision of transitioning from the load-bearing or from the traditional vest to the load-bearing vest adheres to the Frederick Winslow Taylor's principles of time and motion studies, being that he has done his research, and in his research he has concluded that the load-bearing vest far outperforms the benefits of the traditional police vest. He believes that some of the outcomes of Taylorism will be shown in this leadership decision in boosting productivity of the organization, because officers will have a reduction in workers' compensation claims associated with back pain that is attributed to the traditional policing style vest. In addition to this, the performance of the work will be able to be done with fewer people, as there won't be such a turnover with tenured officers due to workers' compensation claims that are common with a police officer that has been on the job 10 years or more. In addition, Commander Collins recognizes that bureaucratic behavior could lead to a lack of flexibility and the tendency to turn the means to an end. Thus, this is a decision that needs to be made and needs to be executed quickly. This is not going to be a decision that will be stalled through committees, subcommittees. This is a decision that will be made and executed via the commander. However, Commander Collins has some marble cake-like features and moves away from some of Taylor's concepts with Luther Gulick's POSCORB. However, he somewhat returns to it in his division and coordination of work, and believing that workers should only have one boss on patrol, and that is him, that he is the superior officer on patrol who is responsible for the execution of these decisions. And he implements this POSCORB in making himself responsible for the planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and coordinating of this, the implementation of this load-bearing vest. And now that this decision has been made via the leadership to move to this load-bearing vest, Commander Collins recognizes the importance of motivating not only members within the organization but the public on the importance of us making this move to this load-bearing vest. However, Commander Collins does reject some of Maslow's theories that it's not possible to skip from one level levels within the hierarchy of needs. He recognizes that oftentimes law enforcement and first responders can jump 1 to 2 different levels in order to satisfy or execute a need. Um, and he recognizes that his organization requires this flexibility to skip levels for the preservation of life. And in that, Officer Collins skips the level of the psychological needs and directly works to advance the safety needs of his employees. And this safety includes understanding that members of his organization require this preference for uninterrupted routines and rhythm, similar to Maslow's studies with infants, where they felt this lack of safety and security due to a disruption in their normal routines and in their daily life. And Commander Collins recognizes that officers are like that infant in the Maslow studies, and is going to work to ensure that employees do feel safe while this change is being executed within the department, and providing them with this love and belongingness with their inclusivity to their feedback and how they feel about it. But nonetheless, this change will be executed. However, they will be given an opportunity to express their concerns and their feelings, and thus helping to motivate them. In addition, the public will also be given some educational platforms as to where they will begin to understand the motivation behind this principle and the cost savings that it will come to in the public ultimately. And this will aid to motivate them into being more receptive to this change as well. And lastly, and possibly most significantly, is going to be the implementation of this change. This new commander understands how decisions are made through Herbert Simon, and that this vest change is happening. However, there will be opportunities for inputs onto the brand and maker options that he will have to review as a commander and make a decision. Being aware of a rational choice, which is maximizing that self-interest, and making a decision in the interest of not only the organization but the members. This commander is going to reject bounded rationality and look at all available options to select the vest that will maximize the utility of the troops and the organization as a whole. In this decision, the new patrol division commander is looking for the best vest, not just the best that's going to slow or stop the bullet. He's looking for this one best way, this best item, not just a rule of thumb item, which is the traditional patrol vest that has been in existence since almost nearly the inception of the patrol vest in policing. That current vest has sufficed. However, the organization is moving to select an optimal vest, not just a satisfactory vest as the current standard issue, which is another attribute of Simon that this leader possesses. In this implementation, the leader of the organization is somewhat acting as a revolutionary. He's getting away from Charles Lindbaum's theory of muddling through, and he's looked at all options and came to an enlightenment on the transition of a patrol vest, that he will not embrace the science of muddling through, and he's going to make a revolutionary decision to drastically change the standard patrol vest overnight based on the available information, and not slowly engage in the incrementalism to ultimately get to this load-bearing vest. Lastly, he's going to reapply some of Taylor's concepts in applying this implementation and applying science to work. Similar concepts of Taylor's time and motion studies, where Collins may not be looking at this shovel that can move the most amount of dirt that Taylor did, but he is going to be looking at the patrol load-bearing vest and what is the best patrol vest for this job that his officers are going to be conducting. And like Taylor, he's concerned with the outcomes and boosting the productivity of the organizational members through the reduction of workers' compensation claim, time, and liability upon the organization. So as you can see, this commander is somewhat of a marble cake leader, if you will. He has taken some of Frederick Winslow Taylor and used that in corporation with Lindbaum and Merton, and meshed this all together to kind of develop his own leadership style and the best method for this particular implementation of this patrol vest. Well, that is my presentation. I know I went a little over trying to incorporate some of these theories in there and the ones that did and didn't apply to the scenario. So thank you for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to watching your videos.